bad light. But that does mean there are still another 11 overs left to be played today, so hopefully you haven't all disappeared, gone elsewhere, and there are enough of you remaining to see what happens over the next 11 overs. The first thing that is likely to happen is that Alex Lees is going to go to his 100, his second in the match. The two umpires, Chris Watts and Jack Chantry, heading back out there, followed by the Leicestershire players, followed by Alex Lees and his partner David Bedingham, who's 76 not out. Not inconceivable that Bedingham could go on to 100 as well. Depends at what point Durham want to pull out. Do they want to go through to the close? Do they want 4 or 5 overs perhaps at Leicestershire tonight? The light is much improved, and so Lees is going to get a chance to go to that second century. We'll bring out Martin from BBC Radio Newcastle, Martin Emerson, and Richard Ray from BBC Radio Leicester. He'll be joining me shortly, Martin, to see if he can see Lees over the line for what would be an historic second century in a match. It has been done before. I'm sure Martin may have told you beforehand in preparation for his second century, but it is a huge landmark personally for Lees and of course for Durham as well, and he's going to get a good opportunity so to do, because Colin Ackerman is going to open the bowling for Leicestershire from the Bennett end, and Martin will hopefully see, from Durham's point of view, see Lees over the line. We didn't expect to be here a few minutes ago.
No, somebody was a little bit
premature,
trigger happy with the, I don't know, control and hit 5 or whatever, F5. So here you go. Atif's in the car now, isn't he? He's away. He's probably sitting in a traffic jam.
Wondering what's going on.
1 run needed for Alex Lees then to join an elite band of Durham players in making centuries in both innings in a first-class game. Ackerman coming round the wicket from the Bennett end to bowl to him, and the first ball is played back up to mid-on, no run there.
The stream is still going through its introduction. I think it needs to go straight onto the cameras.
In comes the bowler again. Lees plays this short on the leg side, no run.
Some of the cameras have been packed away though, haven't they?
Yeah, they have, they've gone. Ackerman bowls, and Lees, it's cut off at short mid-wicket there. Thought he'd got that through the gap. Is that Ed Barnes fielding in there?
Yeah.
Ackerman again. Lees plays it to Barnes once more, and again Barnes dives on top of it. Does a little roly-poly as he picks it up, no run. Two balls left of the over. Ackerman again. Lees forward with a little defensive shot, just pushes it out to Buddinger on the offside, no run. He's only had 2 scoring shots of more than 1 since he got the 59, and this is a maiden over.
Well, who'd have believed it? It's a certain amount of cussedness there on the part of Alex Lees. I don't know, he's not, he wasn't just not prepared to take the risk in that over. And there were singles to be had. You would have thought if he'd been prepared just to take a slight risk. He wasn't, so Bedingham will be on strike to Callum Parkinson. Will open the bowling in this final session from the pavilion end. Jogs in the left armour and bowls to Bedingham, who goes back, and no, he says, as he forces it out into the offside, but Lewis Hill runs across, Leicestershire's captain, that is, from extra cover to field the bouncing ball. And I'm pleased to say the stream is now showing at least some sort of live picture of the ground from a distance. In goes Parkinson, bowls, and Bedingham goes back, clips the delivery off his legs out to deep mid-wicket, and takes the one that brings Lees back down on strike. Will this be the ball, Martin? Or the 4 balls that he's got now? Leicestershire bring the field in, of course.
It's hit 10 fours. Parkinson. Everybody's in close. Comes in, left arm over. Lees turns it to short mid-wicket. No run there.
And the problem, if you are watching and listening, is that they have put away a lot of the cameras.
Yeah.
So they're having to use the fixed cameras.
Which is the analyst's camera, isn't it? This is played off the back foot and out into the covers, no run. They've got 2 men in the cover area quite close in. .221 4-2. Parkinson from the pavilion end, bowls to Lees. Lees turns that 2 square leg. It's a top ball. He's finding fielders every time here. Parkinson once again bowls, and he's launched this in the air, and he's got to be careful. He's not going to be out here. It's going over Rishi Patel. It's gone for 4, and he has done it. He's got there, and he stays at the bottom of his bat, because I think that may have come more off the toe. But Alex Lees, the 6th Durham player to get a century in both innings of a first-class match. He stares up to the heavens in memory of his father as well there. 225 for 2. Lees 103 and 158 balls. And 11 fours, I think it was in the end.
Well batted, Alex Lees. Be interesting now to see what happens. What's Durham attitude going to be?
They're going to have to add a few more runs, I think.
It probably is, you would imagine, light enough now for the umpires to keep the players on, should Durham want to have a couple of overs, 4 overs at Leicestershire tonight. Ackerman goes in from the Bennett end, bowls to Bedingham, goes back, clips him off his legs, out to deep mid-wicket, takes 1, moves on to 78. Question, I suppose, now is whether Bedingham might have time to go to his 100. Just 22 short. And still the best part of 9 overs to be bowled today. Ackerman into Lees, who swings him over deep mid-wicket. Is he going to be caught? Yes, no, he's not. Budinger dropped it over the ropes, and that's 6, I think. Yeah. Waiting for Jack Shantry to confirm. It is 6. Budinger ran up the ropes, and there's a few folded arms and hands on hips out there because he got to the ball, no question about it. Budinger, but somehow he sort of couldn't hang on and dropped it over the ropes. Not impressive fielding by Leicestershire. Unfortunately, today it hasn't been great. In goes Ackerman, bowls to Lees, who goes back and pumps it out along the ground all the way too long on and takes 1. Moves on to 110, 233 for 2.
There you are, the slog's on now. He's got to his 100.
And that was very nearly it, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But in goes Ackerman, bowls to Bedingham, pushes it back down the pitch on the onside. Ackerman moves across smartly and fields.
So Sean Dixon did it last year at Worcester. Prior to that, Scott Borthwick and Keaton Jennings both got back-to-back hundreds in the 2016 season.
In goes Ackerman. Bedingham turns it around the corner, but only as far as Parkinson at well, on the 45, sort of deepish leg gully, short fine leg, call it what you want. In goes Ackerman and bowls. Bedingham is clipping firmly out from under his eyes too long on, taking 1. And
Worcester, Scott Borthwick 103 not out and 134 against Lancashire at home in 2016. Keaton Jennings in the first match that year against Somerset 116 and 105 not out. Parkinson around the wicket here to bowl to Bedingham. Bedingham cuts that down on one knee out towards deep point. There's a fielder out there, going to cut it off. They'll run 3. It's a long way to that boundary on the east side of the ground. Paul Collingwood 181 and 105 not out at Somerset in 2005. Made a century at Swansea in 2017 and then was in the 90s when he declared on himself because of rain during the lunch interval on the final day. Dean Jones, 134 not out and 105 against Pakistan. So a feature of these, 1, 2, 3, 4 of those people who did it, their second innings was 105. Very peculiar. 2-3-7. So the lead is 3-3-2. I think one of the things Durham are thinking about, that short boundary and how easy it is to score through that side. And as Lee's off his back foot places out through the covers towards the meat. Lee said when he interviewed him on day one that he thought it was there were more runs to be had on this side of the ground because it's a much wider area, harder to cover with fielders.
Steve made a good point. I mean, the only gamble is with 5 points, isn't it?
Yeah.
As far as they're concerned.
This is pushed away by Bedingham up too long on. Well, Bedingham could be on for 100 here as well now tonight because he's on 83.
I was saying that, but they've got the maximum 8 bonus points, so it's surely worth losing or risking losing.
Lee's down the track with a couple of steps to meet this one from Parkinson. Plays it up to Patel at long on. Well, they're obviously going to back themselves to win, aren't they?
Oh, well, yeah, of course. What I'm saying is that, you know, if I'm sure they're not afraid to lose if necessary.
Parkinson in again. This is defended on a length by Bedingham.
They want Leicestershire to play shots, is what I'm saying, because it's the sort of pitch you could just dig in on, isn't it? But they want Leicestershire to think, well, we can score at 3.5 and over, or whatever the target might be.
In comes Parkinson again, slammed up into the air. Rishi Patel's on the rope, but he can't reach it. It's over him. It hits the green benches down below us. It's 6. So Bedingham moves on to 89. Where's my match notes? The next door.
89 from 96 balls for David Bedingham. As Martin just wanders off next door to fetch something. 246 for 2. The lead then 341 now. 341 the lead. 7 overs, so if they were to declare at the end of this over, they could have 4 at Leicestershire. But they might just go to the close now. Ackerman is in. Lees steps back, makes room, cracks it away to the extra cover boundary. Scriven gives up the chase. It rolls underneath some of the covers kept over there as he bounces back off one of them. So Lees picks up 4, moves on to 116.
Bedingham's gone past 2,500 first-class runs for Durham in this game.
Ackerman saying, look, I'm going to bowl on the offside, make them try and hit out there. So he brings Eddie Barnes out from mid-wicket. So there are no close, no single saving fielders on the offside at all. Now, just boundary riders long on mid. Oh, there is. Sorry, I beg your pardon. At short, fine leg. Now he's the only one. In goes Ackerman. An attempted reverse sweep by Lees. Connects, but he picks out right at deep gully. Played it well because Ackerman fairly fired it in there. He's in again and bowls. Back goes Lees. Chops it out into the offside. Scriven moves off the point boundary to field. Lees takes 1, moves on to 117.
Bedingham's looking for his 8th century for Durham. He got 151 against Glamorgan at home this year. Made 191 against Leicestershire last year. And 135 at Worcestershire.
And again, Ackerman changes his field before going over the wicket to David Bedingham. Goes back and just turns it calmly into the gap in the leg side. Takes the first one quite quickly, but there was only ever going to be one as Scriven runs on to the ball. Bedingham into the 90s now. 252 for 2. 347 the lead as Ackerman goes in. Outside off stump, chopped away again by Lees. Scriven again feels. Should be one for the throw. It is a long way from the ropes back to the cut strip, and indeed Lees takes two and gets a lecture actually from Jack Chantry, because he ran straight down the middle of the pitch, and Chantry says, "Stop running on the pitch." Ackerman is and almost, in fact, did deliver the ball when Lees stepped away, and Chantry just says, "No, have to do that one again." But it was very much last minute from Lees, so much so that Ackerman actually let the ball go. Steps in again and bowls, fires in, driven and timed beautifully by Lees, off the back foot but through the offside to the extra cover boundary for 4. Well, since the shackles came off Lees, since he got to his 100, he's been spectacular. His 100 came off 158 balls, he's faced 9 more and scored 20. Well, actually, because he went on to 103, didn't he? So he scored, as you say, 20 off 9 balls. 1, 2, 3 he's on. 258 is the score with Bedingham on 90.
So what's the lead? 3-5-3?
Add 100 and take off 5, as you say. 3-5-3. The thing is, it's going to get darker again in a few minutes' time, so I just wonder if they want these. Well, I don't think they're going to declare tonight.
Then I don't think so, no. Parkinson in. I think they may have done had they not gone off, but I think the feeling is they need a few more runs. It's a single for Bedingham down towards Cow Corner. They were off for half an hour, weren't they? So
4 overs we lost.
Yeah, because they're including some extra time built in today that they can claw back 8 overs, or up to half an hour. So
we didn't lose any on the first 2 days. So.
No. That's pulled by Lees for 1 run out the deep mid-wicket. But when they went off at 27 minutes past 5 to come back on at 10 past 6, that's 40 minutes. So they only lose 4 overs in 40 minutes when they should have lost.
You only start losing them after a certain time, don't you? As you
yeah, because of the built-in time in the day. So anyway, it's all. I don't need to worry about it. It's the scorers who need to worry about it. I don't need to. I mean, little head can't cope with all this information. I'm just a village lad. 1 run there from Bedingham as Parkinson comes in again now to bowl. Lees is on 124. The scoreboard's got the wrong people on strike here. Now it's caught up with him, but he's now on 26 as he's hit the ball for 2 down to wide long on.
Judging by the tone of some of those emails you were reading out at the close, the criticism that was flying in from Durham supporters, if they don't win this game.
Parkinson again, and a little nudge for a single just past the bowler and up towards Patel, who's fielding in a sort of deepish mid-on.
If they don't win this game because they didn't declare tonight, the criticism will be vitriolic, but I think it's the right decision.
Parkinson round the wicket to Bedingham. He steps back into his crease and just flicks it up to mid on for 1. He'll keep strike as well. So Durham move on to 265 for 2. Bedingham 93 from 100 balls. The partnership's 181. 3rd wicket stands. I wonder what that is.
181 at the moment.
I'm just wondering what Durham's...
Oh, the records. Yeah. Been a couple set in the game by Durham. Ackerman is into David Bedingham, who is forward in defence, pushing the ball out into the offside. Ed Barnes is the fielder, and the stream is showing play from the start. In goes Ackerman, turned around the corner by Bedingham calmly, and right fields. 1 is taken.
This is the best 3rd wicket stand against Leicestershire for Durham. 182 at the minute. It beats Mike Hussey and Gordon Mutchell here in 2005. That was Hussey's debut from memory, and he got a century in that one.
In goes Ackerman and struck out into the mid-wicket area by Lees. Again, it's just a single. He moves on to 128, 267 for 2. Bedingham picking up 4 on that occasion, so he is now within a blow of his century. That one was outside off stump, cut away to the wide third man stroke backward point boundary for 4, and Bedingham could be about to follow Lees into 3 figures, and Martin will tell you all about it.
Bedingham here is looking at his 3rd 100 of the year. He turns this one out to mid-wicket for 1, moves on to 99. Second, this could go on forever as well.
It could. We have an update to it half-past as well, so crack on, David.
It would be his 16th century in first-class cricket and his 8th for Durham. That was Mike Hussey's debut, that game I mentioned in 2005.
Ackerman is in, cut away by Lees, out to extra cover, takes 1. Springsteen is still listening, bless his heart.
Oh, he's woken up again as the morning. Oh no, was he in Australia? I don't know, he wasn't, was he?
He's back permanently in the UK, I think. I'm sure he does still travel.
Did somebody email from
holidays.
Australia this morning about the kangaroo leather?
Oh, that, yes, yeah. I assume it's the early hours over there now, if not tomorrow morning. No, not quite, it is the early hours, isn't it? Lee's retained the strike with that single at the end of the over. 4 to go with Bedingham on 99. Parkinson is in, bowls to him, and he quickly gets Bedingham back on strike by turning the delivery to mid-wicket and jogging 1 to move on to 130. Field comes in, presumably. Oh. Our Melbourne correspondent tells me it's 3:30 AM.
Still listening.
Bless his heart. Good effort, mate. 6, come on, it's 6. I just don't want you to miss, you know, with the update. That's all.
Right, Bedingham is on strike. There's 1 man out the deep on the leg side, and he nudges this off through mid-wicket for his century. Comes in 105 balls, and the 4th Durham centurion of the game. Alex Lees with 2, Ollie Robinson with 1, and now David Bedingham adds to the situation as well. His 3rd century this season, 16th in first-class cricket and 8th for Durham, and it comes in 105 balls, 8 4s and 4 6s.
Well batted, David Bedingham, and well batted Durham. The lead is now 370 as Parkinson goes in. Lees tries to whack it away to mid-wicket, an uncharacteristically inelegant attempt, and gets it off a thick inside edge towards backward square, where Salisbury picks up and fields. There will be an update for BBC Radio Leicester before too long. Bedingham's just recomposing himself, putting his gloves back on. Everybody waiting for him just to prepare. He's ready now as Parkinson staying round. The wicket is in. Bedingham pushes him out towards mid-on and takes 1. Here comes the update. Just about 3.1 overs left to be bowled today. Unexpectedly back on after being told by the club that play had been abandoned, but not by the umpires, as it turned out. We just lost 4 overs to bad light. And as you say, Durham very much on top here. They're 279 now for two Centurions at the wicket. David Bedingham has just gone to his 100. It came off just 105 balls. But just before that, Alex Lees went to 100 for the second time in the match. Only the 6th Durham player to achieve that particular feat. His 100 came off 158 balls and included 11 fours. 279 for 2 means the lead is now 374, which you would think would be more than enough, but the light is getting a little bit gloomy again. I don't think, well, Durham certainly aren't going to declare tonight now. They are going to try and bowl Leicestershire out tomorrow, give themselves perhaps, I think they'll declare overnight and have 96 overs, with Leicestershire needing round about 390 to win the game. That is an unlikely prospect against a Durham attack which includes now Matty Potts, released by England after not being selected for the 11 for the Lord's Test, and he took 13 wickets in this fixture last season, and the way he took the last 2 wickets of the Leicestershire first innings suggests he will be a serious factor tomorrow. So just a couple of overs left to be bowled now, and Durham going nicely. They're 280 now for 2. And you can hear Sol Bedingham bowling. We're telling you about it, as that one actually bounced a little bit at Bedingham. And the bye was taken. Bedingham goes in, bowls to Lees, hits him on the pads, would have gone on down the leg side. A howling appeal from Bedingham is choked off. No appeal at all from Hanscom behind the stumps. Bedingham is in, bowls, little attempted ramp sweep from Lees. Don't know how much he got on that. It's going quite slowly down towards the finest of fine leg boundaries. He did get a little bit on it, as it turned out. And so he picks up another single, moves on to 133, 281 for 2. Bedingham over the wicket to Bedingham, who clips it in the air to the vacant mid-wicket area. Should be 2, and indeed there will be 2, as it's a long way in for Tom Scriven. Bedingham moves on to 104. 2 overs left in this Bedingham over. Tosses the ball from hand to hand. All Leicestershire's players, other than Wright, out on the boundary essentially. Dropped out towards point by Bedingham. 1 more taken. Content to take the singles. 2 overs to go after this. Just steps in and bowls round the wicket to Lees, who goes back. Short ball, but bottom edges the attempted cut out through the offside and could easily have chopped it onto the stumps. It runs down to fine leg between the batter and the stumps, down to that fine leg boundary for a single. Lees moves on to 134, keeps a strike. 285 for 2 means the lead is now 380 with 2 overs to go.
A lot of information to rattle out there for the BBC website after they also declared, because we had said that the game had finished for the day. But what can you do?
It's the information we were given.
Yeah, Parkinson to Lees. Lees with a single up towards long on. Next ball is played out by Bedingham through the covers. 1 run.
Partnership.
Yeah. Here comes the bowler again. A little reverse sweep from Lees down towards the third man area. One run. He didn't quite connect with that well. Keeper set to chase after it. Still quite gloomy, isn't it?
Becomes so again, hasn't it?
Yeah. 1.3 overs to go. This is defended by Lees. Off Parkinson from the pavilion end.
We will have those 1.2 overs now.
Get them off.
Given Ackerman will be bowling the last one.
2-8-8 for 2. Parkinson in, bowls. Bit of a leading edge there from Bedingham as he was looking to turn that through the leg side. It's gone off the other way through the covers, but he gets 2 runs.
I think it's fair to describe Leicestershire as deflated.
You reckon?
Right now, looking around.
I'm just wondering how many matches are still going on tonight. They've finished for the day at Northants. I know bad light was affecting Worcester and Yorkshire as Parkinson bowls again. A little dabble off towards square leg by Bedingham. 4-1. That's the end of the over. Then he moves on to 109. Where else? Stumps at Lancashire at the Oval. Still playing in Chelmsford. Still playing in... oh no, they're not. They've both finished. Essex won by 9 wickets against Warwickshire. Somerset have beaten Notts by 399 runs. Nottinghamshire all out for 92 in their second innings. They were 14 for 4 at one point. Stumps in Cardiff. Sussex need another 332 to beat Glamorgan at 27 for 1.
Somerset, I don't really look at the first. Are Somerset in with a chance of that title, that elusive?
Are you asking me about my knowledge of the First Division table, which I never ever look at?
Neither do I.
I haven't even got a clue who's top of the table there.
No. In goes Budinger, back goes Bedingham, and just works it out towards straight mid-wicket. In from the boundary runs, Parkinson 1 is taken.
I just concentrate on what I need to concentrate on. Too much other information just fills your brain. Surrey at top.
Budinger, lobs it right up, but it actually isn't too much of a full toss, and Lees is content just to bunt it out towards mid-wicket and walk a single.
Surrey is 23 points ahead of Essex and 26 points ahead of Hampshire, and then Somerset are a few more behind there, about another.
Budinger is in, and
12.
that'll be another one as it's played to mid-wicket by Bedingham. Yeah, so they're not going to win that elusive county championship.
Northants at bottom, Middlesex second bottom, Kent third bottom.
Sounds like Surrey, and sounds like we're going to be going to Northants and Middlesex then again next season. Short from Budinger, faster ball, a little bit short, cut by Lees, but only as far as right at short third man. 2 balls to go. It's been a long old day.
This is a bit of deja vu all over again, isn't it? I feel like we've already been at the end of play once.
Yes, we think there's 2 balls to go. We're pretty sure there are.
Yeah.
There won't be any more after that. In goes Budinger, lobs it up and just bunted again by Lees. He could have wiped that into the middle of next week, to be quite honest, but content just to take 1. And one of those curious little episodes in county cricket when players are very much going through the motions here. In goes Budinger, back goes Bedingham to mid-wicket. Again goes the ball. 1 more is taken, singles off each ball, and that, ladies and gentlemen, really is the end of play for today. With
Honest,
Durham,
it is.
I thought you were going to say no, it isn't for a minute there. With Durham on 296 for 2. They lead then by add 100 and take away 5, 396, 391.
I think that'll be that, don't
and
you?
Surely that is more than enough. If Leicestershire were to get 392 on the final day, I think you would have to say, well, fair play then on that basis against an attack that now includes Matty Potts. But very well played, Alex Lees and David Bedingham, a partnership unbroken of 212 for the 3rd wicket. Lees finishes 138 not out, Bedingham 112 not out.
212 partnership as well, so 57 overs gone. Right, tomorrow then, could be a corker. We'll be on air with you just before 11 o'clock on the BBC website, the Sports app and Probably full cameras again.
Yes, yes. Yeah, that was a bit of a shock. I think they've all been locked away. We will indeed, Martin, myself and Michelle from the Caribbean Cricket Podcast, guide you through, or do our best to guide you through the final day, which could be a real good one. But for now, from the Uptonsteel County Ground, from Martin and myself, Richard, it's a very good evening. Again, but this time we mean it. Bye-bye.